Chelsea have sacked Mauricio Pochettino. Now, this is a bizarre turn of events. Let's be honest, no one saw this coming, but let's get into it. Let's kind of dive into this, delve into it, and dig deep, and let's discuss what has gone on. So it's the end of the season now, and Mauricio Pochettino, it was announced the day after the season finished that Mauricio was going to be leaving the club. Now, it's been a bit of a bizarre case. Now, I know a lot of stories came out on the final day of the season. Pochettino didn't do his lap of honour. He went straight down the tunnel after the Thiago Silva speech. So that kind of speaks volumes. You saw there was a bit of unrest there. I know the way he's been speaking about the ownership and the kind of structure at the club and how it's not been right. Now, it's a bit of a weird one. Now, I'm trying to get my head around this because it finally looked like it had clicked for Chelsea. Like, towards the end of this season, in the last 15 games, only Arsenal and Manchester City won more points than Chelsea. Chelsea looked like they were climbing back up the table. Chelsea were playing some really good football. I think they were unbeaten in the last 10 games at home. It looked like something was building. Pochettino was getting his men back. He looked like he'd finally got his starting 11 sorted, and players were coming back that were injured throughout the season. It kind of looked like, do you know what? Actually, this could work. Mauricio Pochettino and Chelsea, where it looked originally like it was a square peg in a round hole. It looked like, actually, do you know what? This is actually going to fit. This could work. And then out of nowhere, Chelsea seem to have sacked him. And it goes, oh no, they've hit reset. Chelsea are back the way they used to be. Now, it's a bit of a weird one as a whole. Now, I know Todd Bowley, and we've seen recent with the transfer strategies at Chelsea, it's not been a normal club. There's no blueprint. Jeez, I couldn't even say the word. We've never seen a club do this where they've spent so much money on so much youth and kind of just seen how it could all be blended in together. Now, Pochettino has kind of eventually got it to work, and that's why I feel like it's a bit of a weird one, because I know expectation before the start of the season, I feel like he's achieved what probably most people expected Chelsea to do. They ended up finishing 6th place with 63 points, which is crazy to think that they were ahead of Newcastle and Manchester United, two clubs that people probably thought, let's be honest, would be ahead of Chelsea, especially with all those signings. And it's not easy. You know, you've seen it how many times that you saw it with Forest, and you've seen it with so many teams. It's not as simple as if you buy loads of players, you'll just improve. There's more of a correlation, actually, if you do a lot of research into it, with the more money spent on contracts and the more money spent on wages equals more success rather than actual transfer budgets. Go read into it. Some really interesting articles. There's a book called Soccernomics. It's worth the read. So it was a bit of a weird one, and it's been an interesting time because at times throughout the season, Pochettino didn't even look like he knew his starting 11. I think that was probably a bit of a red flag, but the fact that he finally looked like got it sorted. Players like Caicedo, Nicholas Jackson, Cucurella moving in. You've seen Trevor Chalobah kind of come back in the side. Levi Colwill, Conor Gallagher. So many players, Mudryk, like so many, Amadueke. So many players that seem to have stepped up finally. Look like, and you've seen on their Instagrams posts and things like that a lot. And Cole Palmer, sorry as well. How could I forget him? A lot of these players really seem to respect the manager and kind of seem really gutted that he's kind of been sacked and he's kind of parted ways. So it does baffle me a little bit, because what I don't understand is if let's look at it as like a monopoly board. Chelsea actually, they seem to be stuck, and they kept rolling ones at the start of the season and having to step back 3. And towards the end, they've caught up with everyone. They've seemed to have got back, and then all of a sudden, randomly out of nowhere, they've flipped the chance card. They've had to go back to the start. It just doesn't understand. Someone's hit reset, and I don't understand, and I can't work out why on earth this would happen. What was the thought process? Now, who's going to come in and they're going to have to do the exact same thing that we've seen over and over again? We saw this with Graham Potter. It was spoken about that there's going to be a plan. After Tuchel, it was kind of they turn over a new leaf. It was the start of something new. So it looked like we're going to give Potter time. Potter didn't actually do too bad a job. Then they sacked him. Let's be honest, he didn't do too bad a job looking at it on reflection now. And then Pochettino, it doesn't start off well, but then over time he starts to progress. And then again, it starts again. I don't understand what the thought process is. Is it instant success? Is that what they wanted? I don't know. But the fact that he's got them into Europa Conference League, and if Manchester City win the FA Cup, which it looks like before the game, it's going to be most likely, then they'll get Europa League football, which is a great chance for them to get some trophies. And the fact that they got to a cup final as well, they got to the League Cup final this year. I know they didn't win it, but it's a start. It's somewhere. It's actually something. And that's what I can't get my head around, what the thought process was and the thinking behind Todd Bowley's decision. And now they're going to have to go into a market where there aren't many. There's some good managers out there, but for a rebuild and for a job where there's so much youth, there aren't many better managers than Pochettino. Now, I know that's going to throw a lot of people going to go, what on earth are you on about, Sam? Now, don't get me wrong, Pochettino, I know a lot of people joke, oh, he's a serial loser. He's only won the cup and the league in France. That's the only trophies he's won in recent years and in his career. But he is very good at bringing through youth. You saw that with Tottenham. He kind of brought through the likes of Dele Alli and a lot of other young players, and he got the best out of them. And we're seeing that at Chelsea now, finally getting the best out of a lot of this youth. You likes of Mudryk, Jackson, as I said, Cole Palmer, and all these players that have really stepped up this season. And a manager like Pochettino will put his arm around these players and make them feel like they are kings. And you've seen that. The confidence and the improvement in the side has been astronomical throughout the season. That's why I don't understand, because if you look at it as a whole and you looked at it as a job, step back and imagine Pochettino hadn't got it. If someone said there's so many young players here, who's a good manager that will help these young players and take them to the next level? It'd be Pochettino. Then I imagine it'd have been a great thing to do, for having for 2 or 3 years, to get them to a level where they're competing for that top 4, which I don't think is actually that far away. I think if the season had carried on for a little bit longer, I think they would have been up there for definite, because you saw the likes of Villa and Tottenham, whose form towards the end of the season was dreadful. So it looked like they were going somewhere. It looked like Pochettino actually had got it sorted. And then maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, they then get a manager in that can then build a philosophy and then change the structure when all these youth players that they've got have got a bit of experience. So Pochettino would have been great to hold their hand all the way, and then just before the finish line, a serial winner comes in, a manager who has got the pedigree will come in and then take these players to the moon. Whereas now, I don't understand. I don't get the thought process. I can't see the vision anymore. And that's what confuses me at Chelsea. So I feel like the old Chelsea are back. And I know a lot of people go, no, it wasn't working. Now, I know a lot of people say, you're just thinking with your rose-tinted glasses towards the end of the season, Chelsea really improved. But I don't get, even still, it was still like it wasn't just like an improvement like that and it was 5 games. This was like over a long period. We saw a mass and vast improvement. The fact that they got 6th place is absolutely mental. So I just don't get it. For me, I just think it's a ridiculous decision. I think Pochettino deserved more time. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I think Poch was done dirty. I think he's been really, really treated badly here. I think the old Chelsea are back and they shouldn't have sacked Pochettino. But let me know, as I said, your thoughts down in the comment section below. And please do like, comment and subscribe for lots more daily YouTube football content. And click the link down in the description, because I've got all of my socials in there where I'll be uploading loads of other content. But thank you for watching. BucketHatSam over and out. Goodbye.